behind here, where two people are going to read a statement that they just released. If you look at our Twitter feed, you'll see the statement sitting there. And apologize for the audio. I'm sure it's going to be pretty atrocious, but we're going to do our best.
Well, why did you just go ahead?
Alright, my name is Montoya and Jessica Reznicek. This is our statement. We will be representing ourselves as standby counsel, and immediate contact is Federal Attorney Bill Quigley. You can reach him at 504-710-3074. Immediate contact Amber May, 618-334-6035. Melissa Fuller, 515-490-5705 is media contact.
The Dakota Access Pipeline is an issue that affects this entire nation and the people that are subject to its rule. With DAPL, we have seen incredible issues regarding the rule of law, indigenous sovereignty, land seizures, state-sanctioned brutality, as well as corporate protections and pardons for their wrongdoings. To all those that continue to be subjected to the government's injustices, we humbly stand with you, and we ask now that you stand with us.
Federal courts gave permission to lie and withhold information from the public, resulting in a complete media blackout. So, after being called by The Intercept, an independent media organization, regarding illegal surveillance by the Dakota Access Pipeline and their goons, we viewed this as an opportunity to encourage public discourse surrounding nonviolent direct action, as well as exposing the inadequacies of the government and the corporations they protect.
After having explored and exhausted all avenues of process, including attending public commentary hearings, gathering signatures for valid requests for environmental impact statements, participating in civil disobedience, hunger strikes, marches and rallies, boycotts and encampments, we saw the clear deficiencies of our government to hear the people's demands.
Instead, the courts and public officials allowed these corporations to steal permissions from landowners and brutalize the land, water, and people. Our conclusion is that the system is broken, and it is up to us as individuals to take peaceful action and remedy it. And this is what we did, out of necessity.
We acted for our children, and the world that they are inheriting is unfit. There are over 5 major bodies of water here in Iowa, and none of them are clean because of corporations' flagrant irresponsibility. And now another wishes to poison literally millions of us irreparably by putting us all at risk of another major catastrophe with yet another oil spill. DAPL has already leaked and will continue to do so until the oil is shut off and the pipes are removed from the ground.
On election night, we began our peaceful direct action campaign to a Dakota Access construction site and burned at least 5 pieces of heavy machinery in Buena Vista County, Iowa. Details regarding this action are attached. This was information which was not shared with the public. We recognize that our action wasn't much, but it at least stopped construction at that site for a day.
We then began to research the tools necessary to pierce through 5/8-inch steel pipe, the materials used for this pipeline. In March, we began to apply this self-gathered information. We began in Mahaska County, Iowa, using oxyacetylene cutting torches to pierce through exposed, empty steel valves, successfully delaying completion of the pipeline for weeks.
After the success of this peaceful action, we began to use this tactic up and down the pipeline, throughout Iowa and a part of South Dakota, moving from valve to valve until running out of supplies, and continuing to stop the completion of this project. More information to follow.
These actions of great public interest were hardly reported, and the federal government and Energy Transfer partners colluded together to lie and withhold vital information to the public.
We then returned to arsonery as a tactic. Using tires and gasoline-soaked rags, we burned multiple valve sites, their electrical units, as well as additional heavy equipment located on DAPL easements throughout Iowa, further halting construction.
Later, in the first week of May, we attempted yet again to pierce a valve located in Wapello County, Iowa, with oxyacetylene cutting torches. It was at this time we discovered oil was flowing through the pipe. This was beyond disheartening to us, as well as to the nation at large. This event was again hidden from the public and replaced with lies about ditch depressions.
We stand here now today as witnesses of peaceful, nonviolent direct action. Our actions have been those of necessity and humility. We feel we have nothing to be ashamed of. For some reason, the courts and the ruling government value corporate property and profit over our inherent human rights to clean water and land.
We are speaking publicly to empower others to act boldly, with purity of heart, to dismantle the infrastructures which deny us our rights to water, land, and liberty. We as civilians have seen the repeated failures of the government, and it is our duty to act with responsibility and integrity, risking our own liberty for the sovereignty of us all.
Some may view these actions as violent, but be not mistaken. We acted from our hearts and never threatened human life nor personal property. What we did do was fight a private corporation that has run rampantly across our country, seizing land and polluting our nation's water supply. You may not agree with our tactics, but you can clearly see the necessity of them in light of the broken federal government and the corporations they continue to protect.
We do not anticipate a fair trial, but do expect our loved ones to undergo harassment from the federal government and the corporations they protect. We urge you to not speak one word to the federal government and stand firm in order to not be oppressed further into making false but self-incriminating statements. Film these interactions. There are resources as to what to do if the federal agents appear at your doorstep. Educate and protect yourself. It is unfortunate we have to prepare for such things, but this is the government that rules, which continues to look more and more like a Nazi, fascist Germany as each day passes. We salute the people.
Details of our peaceful direct action are as follows. We hope this helps to inspire others to act boldly and peacefully, and to ease any anxieties to the perceptions that held that the state and these corporations are somehow omniscient and undefeatable.
After studying intuitively how fires work and the materials of the infrastructure which we wish to halt, metal, we learned that the fire had to be hot enough to melt steel. And we have learned typical arsonry is not always the most effective means, but every action is a thorn in their side.
On election night, knowing that gasoline burns quickly but does not sustain by itself, we added motor oil, which burns at higher temperature and lasts for longer. We put that into rags to coffee canisters and placed them on seats of machinery, piercing the coffee canisters once they were in place and striking several matches, anticipating that the seats would burn and maintain a fire long enough to make the machines obsolete. One canister did not light, and that is unfortunate, but 5 out of 6 ain't bad.
As we saw construction continue, we realized that pipe was going into the ground and that our only means to obstruct further corporate desecration was somehow to pierce through the empty steel valves exposed at numerous valve sites. We learned that a welding torch using oxygen and acetylene was the proper tool. We bought the equipment outside of our city in an effort to maintain anonymity, as our goal was to push this corporation beyond their means to eventually abandon the project. We bought kits at Home Depot and the tanks at welding supply stores like Cracks Air and Matheson's. Having no experience with welding equipment, we learned how, through our own volition, we were able to get the job down to 7 minutes.
In our particular circumstances, we learned that scouting often hindered our ability to act in windows of opportunity. So we went with our torches and our protective gear on and found numerous sites, feeling out the vibe of each situation and deciding to act then and there, often in broad daylight. Trust your spirit, trust the signs.
Having run out of the supplies, the tanks, we decided to return to arsonry because every action counts. We used gasoline and rags along with tires, as tires burn a nice while once a steady fire within them burns, to multiple DAPL sites and equipment.
We were able to get more supplies shortly after and returned to a valve site in Wapello County to act again. It was then we discovered that oil was flowing through the pipeline. This was not reported to the public. Instead, a story of ditch depressions was reported to the public in Wapello County as to the reasons why the pipeline continued to be delayed.
It's because of these lies we choose to come out publicly, to set the record straight and be open about these peaceful and viable tactics against corporate atrocities.
If there are any regrets, it's that we did not act enough.
Please support us and stand with us in this journey, because we need this pipeline stopped.
Water is life, oil is death. Anyone want these?
Give these back to
Okay, so
They need to take those mics off because they're going to do something.
Okay, so where do you go from here? Are you expected to be arrested?
Yeah. We anticipate that. Where's the property?
Have you talked with law enforcement? Are you going to like surrender yourself? Or what?
We're here today at the IUB because of the recent ruling on Friday, where they again had an opportunity to rule for the people. Instead, they again voted for oil. And so that's why we've chosen this site as a place to come forward and say what we've, express what we've done. These are somebody's mics.
Do you have it? How long are you prepared to go to prison for?
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Ruby. Water protectors.
God bless America.
The IUB needs to start protecting the people of Iowa, not the oil.
Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your witness.
We're outside the Iowa Utilities Board, where two people just admitted to sabotage to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline, and have just been arrested.
Love you guys. Thank you. Well done. Warriors for the planet. Thank you.
Is this worth it, ma'am?
Absolutely, it's worth it. The main thing that we need to be focusing on right now is that oil is in that pipeline. We need to stop that oil. People need to come together again and demand that the IUB begins to represent Iowans and not industry. Absolutely.
These are the sacrifices that we have to make in order to ensure anything for our children.
Is there any place people can go to follow up on you two?
Mississippi Stand, Facebook page, Catholic Worker page, Des Moines Catholic Worker page.
Where are you ladies from?
Iowa.
You guys need to step back, right? I called for a female.
Yeah, I'll just put her in my car for now. Love you, Ruby. Hey, man, go ahead and hop in there.
Any last words? Anything you want to say to people watching right now?
Minishwachoni, man.
Go ahead and turn your head to the left for me. And just your head. Yeah.
All right, so anybody who's just watching, I'm going to encourage you to look at the post. There's a press release statement on there. It's pretty long. Basically explains what's going on here. It looks like two people admitted to multiple acts against the Dakota Access Pipeline that included arson, acetylene torches, and basically trying to do what they could, and what they say in a nonviolent manner, that it was just against metal, to stop the pipeline after exhausting multiple different avenues of change, including the courts, including protests, including petitions, including different kinds of direct action. And so this is where they went after that, and they said that they felt that the information about these events was not released to the public when they were going on, that it was hidden. If you look back, you can see the Dakota Access Pipeline reserved the right to not tell people about sabotage at some point. And they're saying that's around the time they were doing these actions, and that they wanted people to know these actions were undertaken, and they wanted the public to know as they deserved to know it. And that's why they came out today and had a press conference and read out that statement. Again, just go to the website, look at that post, read that statement, and you'll have an idea of what's going on here.
Thanks, man. Who are you doing that for?
I'm with an organization called Unicorn Riot.
Oh, yeah. All right. Good work, man. I love your work. You do good stuff.
Thanks. It's a bunch of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, we're...
Second. That, man. Okay.
Okay, yeah. All right. So Right now there's people in these two vehicles. There's a Ruby Montoya and Jess Reznicek, I think it's the last name. Both just read a press release. Yeah, definitely they just a press release stating what they were doing and why. I'm gonna again implore you, it's 3 pages long, lays out every action they undertook, and right now they're in police cars after going to the Public Utilities Board in Iowa using crowbars. After their press release, they used crowbars to start taking apart the sign of the Public Utilities Board. And at that point, the state troopers that you see here arrested them, brought them over to these vehicles. And from my understanding, overhearing them are waiting for a female officer to come. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm going to put the phone down. If you have questions, I am in the live stream chat. You can drop them in there. Again, this is Lorenzo with Unicorn Riot, reporting live. Let's gotta do something.
What's up, officer?
Police just asked for the crowbars. They were used to augment the Public Utilities Board. So, okay, here we go. Thanks for your patience. We are moving on. Alright, so we're gonna record some more stuff. I have 2 cameras here, it's a little awkward. So this is one of the arrestees currently getting their information taken by the police. The state trooper. Usually this is like pedigree information, like name, sort of gender and so on. I'm not sure. They said they didn't really plan to talk to the police too much after this. But this information is just usually on licenses, so some folks do. Yeah. Then we have Mr. President. Also, those going to be doing that. You can see that they are asking questions. They're all just waiting. From my understanding, they're waiting for a female officer to pat them down. They both were very adamant how they haven't patted them down yet. And so, yeah. So if you're just joining, this is Iowa. I'm gonna get a statement from the police officer. Here's one.
Sure thing.
All right. So again, we're in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa. If you want to know exactly where we're at. You can see these state trooper vehicles here who just arrested 2 people who were in front of the Iowa Utilities Board, which is this building right here. You see it right there. Bam! Iowa Utilities Board. I read a press statement that say that they had actively engaged in sabotage against the Dakota Access Pipeline using acetylene torches, using fires with different accelerants. This is all in the press release I'm talking about. And what they said, that when they were doing those actions, the media was silent on them, and then also the Dakota Access Pipeline was silent on them. They said they they received a phone call from The Intercept about an upcoming article and different surveillance. I wasn't very clear on what the surveillance was or what the conversation was with The Intercept, but they felt after that conversation that the Dakota Access Pipeline and the state weren't releasing the information that this happened to the pipeline. The pipeline is like what sounded like 7 different points. Well, acetylene torch was used, and that various equipment was burned in Iowa. I think there's some stories out there you can see. You can look them up, but compared to what they said in their press release, definitely a lot more stuff went down. I also before going live, I did try to call Energy Transfer Partners after I read the press release, and to get a statement. I got a voicemail, so I wasn't able to get a statement from the Energy Transfer Partners. I'm sure if you are out there, you can look up their media relations number and find out what they're going to say about this. Because as far as these 2 folks said, and also in their press release, that the Dakota Access Pipeline was trying to squash any information of these actions happening. And if you look around that time, I think around the time they're saying this happened, the Dakota Access Pipeline released a statement saying that they reserved the right to not talk about sabotage that was happening at their pipeline for safety issues. I think we have an article about it somewhere on our website. If you don't know who we are, this is Unicorn Riot. I am the current host. My name is Lorenzo, and we're reporting here. If you don't know, we have a vast trove of information about the Dakota Access Pipeline fight. If you go to our website, you can find the latest Dakota Access Pipeline article. I don't know if it's the one with this is embedded in, but it has I think, I don't know, like 90 posts, kind of day to day of what was going on, what actions were taking place. And so, one more second here. Yeah, set this camera down. And it was probably disorientating. I just not. Okay. Whew, all right, that's fine. Hey, what's up, Ping? This is Iowa. I'm not sure exactly if there's anything else that's going to go on besides these two people maybe being searched and taken away. We'll stay live here to answer any more questions. Again, I am on Livestream. You can talk to me in the chat there. If you're watching on Facebook, sadly, I can't see that chat, but I thank you for joining us. Again, this is Unicorn Riot. We are in Iowa, outside the Public Utilities Board, where two young women, or women, just admitted to acts of sabotage against the Dakota Access Pipeline that took, over a period of what sounded like weeks, according to them, and also kind of coincided with the Dakota Access Pipeline Energy Transfer Partners statement that said they weren't going to release any information about access sabotage, and they were reserving the right to keep that for safety reasons, they said at the time. The two women in their press releases said that these were nonviolent acts, and there was no humans involved in it whatsoever, that it was acts against the pipeline. And so they feel that this is still a nonviolent action, and they felt that due to the current...
Do you know those girls' names?
It was Ruby Montoya.
Wait 1 second, let me write it.
You're gonna have to look it up because I can't spell it for you. If you talk to the people around the corner, they probably can spell it for you. The person
I could figure out the spelling.
It's like Ruby Montoya and Jess Reznicek. Sorry, everybody, if I'm slaughtering that.
Jess
Reznicek. I don't know. Again, that person in the green shirt will know for sure. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna put this down one more time. Yes, the people arrested, they were planning to turn themselves in, but they did one last action, it looked like, in defiance and also general anger at the Public Utilities Board here in Iowa, which granted eminent domain for the Dakota Access Pipeline and multiple landowners. So they went at the board with crowbars and started taking off the letters, and at that point is when the state patrol here arrested them. I'm not sure if they were going to be arrested if they did or did not do that, but their goal seemed to be to turn themselves in and admit to these things. They released press releases to us, I think around 9 in the morning or somewhere around there. And also, I'm here. I'm in Iowa right now. Looks like this vehicle is taking off with Ruby. If you don't know, both of them were very actively involved in a Mississippi stand, and I guess I took off on their own from that and did these actions. So he's going to communicate that they're going to take them off somewhere else because they don't want these people watching. It's my... Yeah, so the people, I'll walk back through all this one more time before I go down. Right now, people are just sort of filming as the police get ready to take these folks away. Well, now they came to the Public Utilities Board and then also took another action against the sign. Before that, he's staring at my feet. Who's this person, you know? Does anybody know who this folk is? Another vehicle has walked up now chatting with the officers. He obviously has a little bit of bones. So we're waiting here for a moment. Hi, who are you with? Are you with the State Patrol? Alright, so this person has rolled up, won't identify themselves. Do you know who that is?
No.
No? Alright, so there's some other person who was interacting with the police, with the State Patrol, asked them to identify themselves, assuming they were an authority figure. If you look at their vehicle they rolled up in, You can see the dash has like some flashy lights. That might just be undercover. I don't really know. But that the person that's rolled up, again, I just asked them to identify themselves as somebody who's interacting with a public official of the state patrol. They decided not to, and they waved me off. So that's what happened there. Again, we're in Iowa right now. Yeah. Again, if you're watching Ping, I would really suggest going and reading that press release they sent out. It's on unicornriot.ninja. I think it's the most recent post, which should be right at the top there. Also, if you're watching on Facebook, I think it should be linked in the information of the post itself. And then also, if you're on Twitter, I think it's been tweeted out where this is embedded. And we're just waiting here. You have these people now chatting. And they haven't identified themselves.
No doubt. Oh, no shit. The term I now have is they have steel holders. Steel holders. They could if they wanted to.
Man.
They could do whatever they want. They're amazing. So,
North State Patrol.
I don't know. The utilities started. They wanted to get it all down, but they quickly left. Well, they got two of the Read the statement. It'll knock your drawers off. Yeah.
So I'm still waiting for
Just read
female
the statement.
officers.
It's amazing.
Anyways, just joining again. We are in the outside the Iowa Utilities Ward, where two women, Montoya and Jessica Reznicek, again, I batted spelling the last name, or pronouncing the last name, I think, read a press release that should be on our website, saying that they actively engaged in acts of sabotage, arsonry, using acetylene torches, and different fire-building accelerants against pipeline infrastructure, including vehicles. They said that when they did this, they just felt it was what they needed to do, where they were at, I guess, and somebody said in the press release, in their personal journey. And so that's what they did, and then they came out here and basically let folks know they did it because they felt that the press around those actions was not very big, and they felt it was being squashed out, that people were doing these things, and they wanted people to know it did happen regardless of what, you know, was currently in the press, that these actions were ongoing as all the other actions were ongoing. And now they've been arrested after their statement. They took crowbars to the Public Utilities Board, Iowa Public Utilities Board sign, and started pulling off the letters. And at that point, the State Patrol went up to them and arrested them. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Again, I am in the live stream chat, so you can drop questions on here. Diane Carmichael, I asked that question to Jess. They said you might be able to follow along on Mississippi Stand website or on the Catholic Worker website. Those are the suggestions they made.
I sent a lot of links out.
Diane, I don't know what the charges will be. Federal charges, felony charges, I really don't have any idea. I know that there's different places. Yeah, that's obviously an officer who knows these officers, so he must just be an undercover officer, doesn't want to identify himself as an undercover or whatever, he's plain clothes. The charges, I couldn't tell you. I know that a lot of laws have been put in place to guard and sort of like elevate infrastructure, pipeline infrastructure, into a different kind of state status. And so I don't know if those laws exist. I think all these actions happen in Iowa from what I'm hearing. I don't know if those laws exist. I don't know if the federal government gets involved when it becomes infrastructure. I'm not really sure. Thanks, Diana, for follow here too. We'll do our best to follow this story. So I don't know. I can't tell you what the charges will be, but I do suspect there'll definitely be charges, and you'll hear about it. They're hoping for a jury trial, a public jury trial. They think that the public deserves to know people are doing these things. Yeah. Incurring these things, and so other, you know, so I just don't know. I don't really know, but it is possible that this does go to federal charges of some sort. That's like, although the pipeline wasn't built yet or operational yet, but I think it's considered critical infrastructure by the government, and so for actions to be done against critical infrastructure in this type, it's possible they could do something. I don't really know. Again, if you are watching, I just want to remind everyone that we are a independent, non-for-profit, non-commercial site. If you like our coverage, go to unicornriot.ninja and click support our work, become a recurring donator, and just give what you can. I just had to do the ask. We're a non-profit. It's what I end up doing all the time. But anyways, back to this story. Let's see, something's literally in our... Anyway. Yeah, Ping, it's not just against the board. They admitted to using acetylene torches against pipeline valves, burning holes in steel in order to make the infrastructure not work. You know, so they were actively trying to make and destroy equipment in order to not allow them to build the pipeline. And so that's the charges that I'm talking about. As for the charges of the property on the sign, I haven't, you know, whatever. I think destruction of property, probably, whatever. Again, they in their statement said that their actions were all nonviolent. They were against a metal and also you know, tractors. There's nobody in them. So we'll see how that all plays out. Again, I'm in the live stream. I'm gonna check this chat one more time. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you so much. Again, if you are watching, go ahead and click that follow button on the Facebook and or on Livestream and or on Twitter or whatever feels comfortable. And you also can look back through our video feed. You can see different direct actions that took place in Iowa. We were down here for a bit covering direct actions, not this specific events they admitted to. We just learned about those with you today. But as for the direct actions, the lockdowns, the Mississippi 7 took to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline from going underneath Mississippi. We were there for a short time and documented those actions. So you can probably look at our website, look for Mississippi Stand, you'll see various actions. Also, we interviewed Ruby at one time about their actions here, and that interview exists as well. So if you're looking for more information about who these folks are, and also if you look up Jess's name, they're very prolific. They were arrested multiple times in trying to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline in Mississippi. From my understanding, sort of was like the first person who sat down in front of the machinery and was arrested and just sort of kept returning. So if you want to check that out, just look up that name.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Anybody in the studio is watching and wants to transfer any questions from Facebook over to Livestream, that'd be really appreciated. Again, if you are watching on Facebook and want to ask and interact with me, sadly right now we can only do that on our Livestream page, new.livestream.com/Unicorn Riot. Also, if you're watching unicornriot.ninja, the old unicornriot.ninja webpage, and the stub post there, that post you're kind of watching on, it will also allow you to chat. So you can chat. We got another police vehicle that's rolled up. I assume there's going to be a policewoman inside because they're very clear that they're going to wait for at least female appearing officer, female identified officer, to search these folks. So we're just going to wait and see. I assume that's what's going on now. Yeah, so I think that they were arrested. There's other campaigns that happen. I'm not exactly sure. Again, I just sort of was advised to come down, so I did, and we got this press release, and now I'm outside the Public Utilities Board in Iowa. And so, yeah, I think these folks have, on different occasions, have been arrested in sort of nonviolent direct actions at some point. So we have the female officer now, who I think is here just to search them. They didn't want to search them. And then I assume they're getting moved into that vehicle over there, but I don't, we'll find out. Anybody's watching on someplace that isn't Unicorn Riot, just know this is unicornriot.ninja. I am your host, Lorenzo. I'm part of the Media Collective, and we are in Iowa right now. As two people just read a statement admitting to different forms of, I guess, sabotage is the right word, against the direct action, or against the Dakota Access Pipeline. And both of them have now been arrested. After their statement, they went at the Public Utilities Board with crowbars to express their anger at the Public Utilities Board failing that the Iowa had failed the public for granting eminent domain. I think almost 13 cases to the Dakota Access Pipeline. So 13 United States citizens lost their land, so the pipeline could go in. So right now they're just searching Ruby. So there's a pat down. So now we have a police officer here as well. So these are state troopers who were here initially, and now there's a police officer from Iowa here as well. All right, so they basically pat down. Like I said, the officers said they were going to bring in a female officer to do the pat downs, and now they have, and now they're doing these before they take them in. And so I assume that they're going to be taken off to be further processed. Do you know where people can go to follow up on this, like their arrest and what happens to them next? I know
they'll go to the Polk County Jail and they'll be booked. And tonight they will post a booking mug and a charge.
Well, I mean, like in the future, like I know we'll try to cover the story, but is there anything locally that will be updating? Like, is there a blog about?
Oh yeah, I'll be doing it.
Where at? What site? Website?
Do we have a website yet? Yeah, we do, but I don't know how it works. You got an email, don't you?
Yeah.
I can send you all my stuff, and then I'll keep sending it to you.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm just wondering for the public. There's like a few hundred people watching right now. They're asking where they can follow up and keep looking to know.
Tragic. The guy who's going to do that's not here right now.
Okay, so I'll keep, anyways, let's keep following you, right? We'll do our best to...
Des Moines Catholic Worker, probably anything if you Google it.
Des Moines Catholic Worker?
Yes, something's going to come up with it.
Okay, cool.
That's my guess.
Jay was so happy. They didn't check the group, though.
No, they did.
Yeah.
They're going to try to, eventually they're going to do the interrogation thing. Not these guys, but somebody going to split them up and just go after them. Rip them apart. However, I called Bill quickly. He's prepared to, do what they do. That's short for the bureau.
Across the road here. Someone's saying this gentleman's with the FBI. I can't verify it. Just looking around. It's in Des Moines, Iowa, from the Public Utilities Board. A few members of the press still here. Again, there was a press release that went out, drew a bunch of press, including us, Unicorn Riot, to the Public Utilities Board, and to have this statement read out from these two women who, in their statements, that they engaged in sabotage against the Dakota Access Pipeline, using acetylene torches and different. They said at the point they were using tires and cans filled with gas and oil to light excavators on fire. They said that their only regret is they didn't do more, or at least one of the people said that. I think it was one person said that, and that they wanted to just turn themselves in because they felt that the public didn't know these things happened and it was being hidden from. So that's kind of what's going on here. Again, if you do want more information, the press release is on our website, unicornriot.ninja. It should be the most recent post. And you can also, if you go to that unicornriot.ninja, click on that post. I think the link is also in the information around where you're at. Like, so on Livestream, it should be in the description, and on Facebook, it should be in the body of the post. If it's not, please do that. And you can go there, and also you can engage with me. You can chat with me, ask me a few questions, and also read the statement. It's 3 pages long, and it outlines their reasoning behind their actions, how they felt these actions were not violent, that they were against this items, and also that there's a list of actions they took. Like, there's a list of various places they went to and say that they sabotaged the equipment to stop the pipeline. And so, I mean, that's just what went down. I don't know how else to explain it. And again, I can't summarize that press release, so it's definitely worth taking a look at. If you go to the beginning of this live stream, there's also them reading it. I can't tell you what the audio is like. Again, there's a very busy road behind me, and I was, so I don't know if the audio was good. And now we're just, waiting here. Again, like after those statements were made, they used crowbars to take apart the Public Utilities Board sign, expressing their anger at what they felt was a failure, the Public Utilities Board's failure to I-wins, for the Public Utility Board also using the eminent domain to condemn United States citizens' land and give it to Energy Transfer Partners who put that pipeline in. They felt that was an affront, and so that's why they did this out front of here. Just waiting here. I don't have a copy of the statement, or maybe I'd read it again. Oops. into the van. If you're watching live stream, you can see in the chat there's a statement.
You're in our shop, okay? Come on.
Great.
Thank you, Ruby.
Gracias.
God bless.
I don't know what you're saying.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, we already got interviews with them. There is some statements that are running that shot. A big stick might come through again, please. Okay, that's not a good move, right?
The media is mad at the media.
No need to it was an accident, all right?
No, it wasn't. That wasn't an accident.
Yeah, it was. I did not do that.
That's fine. We're done. Okay, we don't do it again.
Like I said, don't talk to me.
I don't know the relationship between the gay people. Okay, so we have Jess coming over now.
What jurisdiction does the city?
Well, they just probably put them in custody so they can go book them in the county jail.
Yeah. Jess, thank you. God love you. Thank you, Jess. All right. Water Warriors. Woo! Woo! All right. Well done. Well done.
All right.
Okay, that was them loaded into the police van. This is what? Hey, where are they being taken? Probably what county are we?
Polk County, that'd be my bet.
Polk County. Excuse me, officer. Are they being taken to Polk County or
Polk County Jail.
Polk County Jail? All right, thank you. So according to the police officer, they're going to Polk County Jail, and also some onlookers. So this is Polk County and Des Moines, Iowa.
Correct.
And the other group was the state troopers. There's a few plainclothes officers. They didn't identify themselves to me. Somebody
from the Bureau.
Somebody said somebody from the Bureau was here. Did not say Federal Bureau of Investigations, but said they were from the Bureau. So again, that's what was said.
That's short for FBI.
I just gotta say, you know. Like,
Yeah. All right, we're going home. Let's go. Thanks.
All right, so it looks like folks are leaving here. I'm going to move to the front of the Public Utilities Board. Sign, then I'm going to probably go down. I don't think they're going to turn around. Alright. This is the police officer's statement.
I got it.
Wait after the backup. Okay.
Just give us your name first.
Sergeant Steve Lawrence with the Iowa State Patrol.
Could you spell that for us real quick?
Yeah, Steve with a V, Lawrence, L-A-W-R-E-N-C-E.
So what's next for these women?
Well, right now they've been charged with criminal mischief, 4th degree, I believe, for the vandalism of the sign on the side of the Iowa Utility Board building.
And obviously you heard their statements, so I'm assuming then that'll be looked at? Or?
I was standing back far enough, I could not hear their statements. So I don't know what they said to the press at this time.
And was there a member of the FBI here?
I'm not sure if there was or not.
You think this is going to, like, stimulate vandalism like this, like in any other places across the town?
Well, let's hope. I hope that it's wrong.
So they've been arrested for criminal mischief. Des Moines police, or they've been sent to Polk County, or just to make sure I understand?
They've been charged by the Iowa State Patrol for criminal mischief, 4th degree, I believe, and transported to Polk County.
So they're charged by State Patrol for criminal mischief for only the sign. They don't have any information on the press release yet.
I can't speak on that.
So technically they're being arrested for this, not anything related to the statements that they've made.
That's correct. They're under arrest for the actions of defacing public property, the signs, today. Yes.
Did they tell you they were going to? How did you know they were coming here? Like, how did?
We were notified by a source. Our dispatch notified us. The source that notified our dispatch at this time is uncertain.
Again, can you just say your name again for me?
Yes, Steve Lawrence, L-A-W-R-E-N-C.
What's your rank?
Sergeant.
Sergeant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to where this kind of all started, at least for me, which is around the corner. We're gonna walk. I'm gonna do the old face stream. I apologize. Literally my least favorite thing to do. Okay, what's up, everyone? This is Lorenzo with the Unicorn Riot. We are in Iowa. If you have been watching, you just saw two folks be put into a police van after being searched by a female police officer after they were put in the state troopers' cars, who detained them or arrested them after the two women used crowbars at this sign. Before that, they were reading a press release that admitted to multiple acts of sabotage against the Dakota Access Pipeline. They said they used acetylene torches. They used cans filled with gas and oil that they put inside of excavators, and that's what went down. And they, according to the state trooper there, they weren't arrested for the acts in the press release. You'll see the press release again. Read that press release. They're arrested for the act of destroying the sign. So the state troopers are charging them for destruction of the sign. They said criminal mischief. As far as any of the allegations and things they admitted to in the press release, those weren't mentioned by the state trooper. They said they didn't hear those things, but that, you know, afterwards they'll be pretty sure an investigation and whatever other charges will occur. Again, I saw state troopers, police officers from Polk County. That's where we're at, Polk County. Watch out, it's super loud. Super loud. It's awful, right? Paramedics. Anyways, from Polk County. And so I'm almost back to the sign that was defaced. See if it's still defaced. Yeah, it looks like it's missing some letters. And I'm going to show you that sign, and then I'll do a quick wrap up and then go down. So if you have any questions, now's a really good time. Alright, I'm going to turn this around. And set my camera. I'm gonna walk up to this. All right. So you got so after their statement, they went to this sign here, and they used a crowbar. One was on this letter, B-A, and then the S. They tore them off. As soon as the state troopers saw them doing that, the state troopers were over here. They rushed over and arrested them. You can see that on the stream. Up until that point, they weren't going to arrest them, even from their own statements. They said that they were arrested for their actions on this sign, not for the press release they did. The press release they did. So I'm gonna turn. So hopefully that makes some sense. I'm still trying to piece it together. Again, my name is Lorenzo. I'm part of the Unicorn Riot Media Collective. This is unicornriot.ninja. If you like this sort of content, we're a nonprofit. Go to Unicorn Riot. Click support our work. Give what you can. Become a recurring donator. That's the fundraising pitch I gotta do. So, and then just know that we'll do our best to follow this story. We were able to interview them, so we'll have that coming out too. I assume this is going to start a huge conversation in the no DAPL world, as most people have been saying that any sort of actions like this are not part of that movement. And now these folks who say that they went and did that because they saw everything else wasn't working, and so they felt that that was what they had to do. Again, I'm just going to say, again, I said it like 30 times, read the statement, Decide what you want. In that statement, they said they were doing this because there wasn't enough public discourse about these actions, but the public was not being told they were even happening. At the time, there's a story that we put out. I'm pretty sure that the Dakota Access Pipeline was going to not tell people any more cases of sabotage for their own safety, they said. Again, when the actions they sort of outlined in that statement, there was nobody there. They said that it was all against infrastructure and there was never people involved besides themselves. And so they feel like they're non-violent. All right, so thanks for joining us. Click follow, like, share. Only way, again, we have no distribution platform. We don't pay people. We don't run ads on our stuff. Like, the only way people see this is if you share it. You place it on your Facebook wall, on your Twitter page, on your website. Just let it know it comes from Unicorn Riot. All of our content is Creative Commons, non-commercial, share alike. Again, we do not commercialize our content. We're funded by the viewers, so again, support our work if you can, and we'll do our best to keep following the Dakota Access Pipeline story, which is still unfolding. This is new information for us, new information for you. People are still not happy that pipeline is operational and in. There's court cases still being seen at the federal level. Recently, a judge sided with the Dakota Access Pipeline protesters, water protectors, that there was not an adequate conversation with the tribes. Again, there's supposed to be another ruling, I think it's September now, it was in August. It's decided that will cause the pipeline to be stopped. We don't know if that'll happen. History says no. People feel yes. People are saying they're going to keep praying and do what they can. Again, there's still actions taking place, and also against a lot of other infrastructure, fossil fuel infrastructure in the United States. So take a look around for that. Follow Unicorn Riot for more updates. And I am out. I'm Lorenzo, your host. Have a great day. And I am out. I'm Lorenzo, your host. Have a great day. Have a great day. Have a great day.